Rachael Bland's final recording of her podcast You, Me and the Big C sees her talking about wanting to spend as much quality time, as possible with her young son, Freddie. The BBC broadcaster passed away on Wednesday, the 5th of September at the age of 40, following a 2-year battle with cancer. In the last ever episode of her podcast, titled The New Normal, Rachael spoke poignantly about the 3-year-old son she'd be leaving behind to her co-presenters Deborah James and Mahon. "I want to spend valuable time with him. Whatever time I have left, I want it to be good time," said Rachael. "The way I deal with it is by not thinking about it too deeply. I know I'm probably not going to be living for much longer, but I don't think about it too deeply because I wouldn't be able to look at Freddie without weeping all over him," she added. Rachael spoke about wanting more time with her husband and son shortly before she passed away. Image, Twitter. In her last weeks, the BBC presenter started writing a memoir for her dear son called For Freddie. Image, Rachael Bland. Twitter. The final episode of the chart-topping podcast also looks at how cancer patients find a sense of normality in their lives after diagnosis and treatment. Shortly before Rachael's death, she said goodbye to her loyal listeners in a farewell tweet, saying it would be the last time they heard from her. In the words of the legendary Frank S., "I'm afraid the time has come, my friends. And suddenly, I'm told I've only got days. It's very surreal," she told them. "Thank you so much for all the support I've received." Deb's in-laws will continue with the You Me podcast. Au revoir, my friends. Rachael pictured with Mahon and Deborah James from her Big C podcast. Image, BBC. Rachael spoke to her listeners about her experiences battling cancer. Image, Rachael Bland. Twitter. Rachael had been desperate for more time with her family after being told by doctors she only had days left to live. The Radio 5 Live presenter was in a race against time to wrap birthday presents for her 3-year-old son Freddie to open every year until he turns 21. She also wanted to finish her memoirs, titled For Freddie, so he and Steve could sit together and read her thoughts and views, but sadly she died before she could finish it. Following Rachael's death, Steve took to social media to thank her podcast listeners for their support. "While we're at it, I'm doing my best to read as many of your messages to her as I can. Can't tell you how much comfort they're bringing us all. Thank you," he posted.